You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Did you take your last pee break?
I did.
You're good, Mark.
Might have to go later.
Welcome to the Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 130 of East Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by co-host Chase Peyton.
What's up, Jer?
Co-host Chris Guffey. No, he's a producer, but he just walked away, but he's here. He's on a special mission from God. And Dakota Davis. Always.
That's right. Today's episode features the always wonderful, the always beautiful.
You don't know this yet. It's his first time.
No, I've met Brad in the past.
Well, he's never been on the show. I think you're just buttering him up because he stole a shirt
he could
out
be
of
Tim
your wardrobe.
Tebow's. He could be Tim Tebow's twin brother.
He could. He's very handsome. Mr. Brad Brewer.
Tebow's much older.
Brad, he is a banker by day, a reporter by night. Is always very busy. He's
not a banker. That's an offensive term.
How dare you? How dare you?
God.
Okay. Start. Oh God, the producer's gone.
We're out in the wind now, boys.
We're stuck with this intro.
There's no take backsies.
But he does reporting for the New Right Network and some other publications, and we are going to talk to him about
Hello to the
his work
CIA
there.
operatives that are watching the program. We're glad you follow all of Brad's work, and we hope you join our Patreon.
We're going to talk to Brad about what is the difference between a bank and a credit union, which I've already messed up. And then we're also going to be talking to him about roads. There's been all kinds of road closures this summer, and everyone's complaining about it. So we're going to dig into the specifics behind that. And then at the very end, we're going to be talking about the Newcastle city budget and some breaking news on the Castle Theater and a potential tax increase for Henry County.
This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. We said a minute ago that producer Chris is on a mission from God. What really happened is we got some fan mail.
We did. We got a care package in the mail. And intern Mason Rottinghouse also got a care package up at Purdue University from our best friend.
One of our best friends.
One of them. One of our best friends and Patreon member, longtime supporter of the show, Mr. Andrew Bowman. He sent us some hot and spicy instant noodles that the packaging is in a foreign language. We just assume that they say spicy.
Are you sure it's not just Southern?
Growing up in the South, I can guarantee that is not Southern.
I don't think that this would be something that would be thought about in the South.
Nope.
And he also sent us some ghost pepper popcorn because apparently we are the guys that eat spicy stuff.
For the last year
internet.
or so, we have become Spice King Capital.
You know, I think we should rename the show to Hot Ones. I think that's a good name for a show. We'll have to see if it's.
I like it.
But Andrew Bowman, he's a Patreon member. If you also want to sign up for Patreon, those are the folks that pay the bills around here. Patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. Before the show started, we plugged a little bit of the episode that we gave out for those folks this week. It's a good episode that involves mutants, 15,000 volts of electricity, a shovel, and 30 feet. So
and your greatest fears.
Greatest fears. So make sure you go over there and give that a listen. Once you get signed up, you'll get a private RSS feed that only those folks get access to. And if you sign up at $50 or more a month, then we promise to tell the world just how great of a person you truly are. And those folks are Christy Avery, Craig DaCosta from all the way in Hawaii, and Jonathan Phillips, the cop that might be arresting Mason Rottinghouse later.
Maybe.
And
if you join the Patreon today, we will put a poll in there, and you get to decide the baby gender.
Science.
You will. The winning thing. We'll get. We'll decide it.
Hey, gender.
So you're going to find out next week, but we'll vote on it this week.
I think it's going to be a girl.
That's what I think too.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a girl.
You think he just wants to pretend like he wants a girl, so he really gets that son? He's always hoping.
Nope. He's only going to produce girls.
I thought I was going to have a boy, but negative. I wore all blue that day.
Was it
Negatory
okay?
Batman?
Yeah, I'm
Was
fine
it
with
okay?
it. Yeah.
You're no regrets?
No.
That's not why you had to have another one?
Listen,
No
everybody
regrets.
always asks you like what your preference is, but there's so many other things that are going through your mind
Yes.
during the whole pregnancy. Because I don't know about you, but every doctor's appointment, I'm absolutely terrified.
John Phillips wants to know when he gets to arrest him.
My
Probably
wife-
going to have to be a Tuesday, John. That's your day off. I think we'll schedule him to come through town and do something wrong on a Tuesday.
My wife went to the doctor today, and even though it's just a normal checkup, I'm somewhat anxious until I hear, okay, everything's fine, even though everything's been fine, and there's been no reason for us to believe that anything wouldn't be. It's just
That's how I am. And
there's no doubt about it.
my wife, she had to spend a day in the hospital because she was very.
She drank too much the
dehydrated.
day before?
Wow.
No, it was the opposite. She couldn't drink anything, so she had to get some IVs and stuff. She was all fine, and she's been fine since. But they like did the little microphone scan to make sure that the heartbeat sounded okay, and it took the doctor like probably 2 full minutes to find the heartbeat, and I was freaking out.
I bet you were.
I was petrified. She warned me before. It was the nurse, not the doctor, but she warned me before. She's like, it always takes me forever to find the heartbeat on this thing. And all the other times the person has come in and they've just stuck the microphone right there and it like immediately pops up. So whenever she's like, and maybe I should press a little harder, and I'm like
It's scary. There's no doubt about it.
absolutely terrifying.
Yep.
So that's why you really don't worry about what the sex is.
Nope. Just healthy.
Yeah. It's a cliche thing to say, but that is all that's on your mind.
Yep. It's true.
So we invited Brad here. We've been friendly around town, having conversations here and there, watching each other's work, and said we need to have you on this show. We'll talk about your day job in a little bit, but the moonlighting thing is you dabble in this political world
When I can. Yeah, I do. It's funny. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. Is that I started playing around with it more, not hardcore. People get the wrong.
more intense or dedicated.
Yes, intensely. A few years ago, and it's really kind of grown. It's pretty exciting. I mean, just to be able to get, feel like you're getting your voice out there somewhat, even if.
Are you Twitter verified? I mean,
I'm not.
You're still fake news.
I'm still fake news, unfortunately. Yeah, no, they're not. I'm not going to get verified anytime soon, I'm sure. But maybe.
You can be verified and then it can be stripped away.
And then deleted.
That's the ultimate goal, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's the
ultimate
life cycle. I
verification.
learned about that in business school. It's the product life cycle. You're
exactly.
These early adopters, and then eventually you decay and die, and you move on. You get replaced.
Exactly. It hasn't happened yet, though. Thankfully, I haven't been banned yet. That's the running joke with everybody that knows that I kind of do politics. Is that it's when will you get banned? Well, it's going to happen. I mean, at some point or another, it's going to happen. I imagine, but not yet. But yeah, when I was growing up, I loved politics anyway.
You're from North Carolina?
Yes, originally from North Carolina.
So you were like, as a kid, you went door to door for Elizabeth Dole, I assume. I mean,
I did meet with Elizabeth Dole a couple times, actually. But no, I went.
Elizabeth Dole is the lady that was responsible for the third brake light on all your cars?
Yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Person.
You're welcome. Well, she's dead now, so.
Yeah, don't speak ill.
Good.
How dare you? But no, I worked with a friend of mine to get. He was elected to school board. Was the youngest school board member in the state of North Carolina. So that's pretty cool. Basically, I put out 8 billion signs.
I have good news.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Dole is not yet.
She's
dead.
not dead.
No, no,
She almost died.
No, you killed her off. She and Bob Dole, the former senator, and nearly
Still alive.
lost to President. Lost
Who's
to
I thinking of then?
don't
Someone's
know.
dead.
Somebody has died.
Someone's dead.
However, in miraculous news, Libby Dole is still alive, and
Let's try to get her on the show.
yeah,
You,
the Dole apology tour will be coming to your town soon.
you've been covering the Trump rallies though for the New Right Network.
Yeah, I do local ones. I mean, I'm not going, all over the United States doing it, but I have covered the ones in Cincinnati a few times, Indianapolis. I was at the NRA convention covering it when he was there speaking. So I've covered several in the recent last few years. Well, I guess since he became president. So
Right.
it's pretty wild to if you've never been to a rally like that, I don't know if you guys do go to those.
I've not. I work during the day,
Sure.
and normally when he comes through town, it's like, hey, he's going to be at the State Fairgrounds
Right.
on a Wednesday at 10.
Right. It's
It's not
time.
normally. It's normally announced like on Sunday, right?
Right.
It's not like it's just.
Yeah,
I'm not that flexible, unfortunately.
Thankfully, I'm able to, I've been able to kind of get, paid time off with work and get down there to see it and stuff. But it's been pretty cool. I mean, I know, previously I was just kind of covering it from the normal seats, but as of, I guess, the last 3 or 4 I've been covering it actually from the press pool, which is a whole different animal because, well, you kind of have to, I have my little Republican pin because I am a registered Republican, so that's okay. But I have that on my lapel just so that I don't get yelled at that I'm fake news as well, because he's going to point and he's going to start yelling at the media, which is his thing.
Yeah, we've heard
obviously.
that story from Rob Kendall, that producer from Chicks on the Right, that he was at a Trump rally in the press box,
Just eating up, standing there.
He said that whenever Trump pointed and called them fake news, he said he was like a schoolgirl. He was just giddy with excitement that everyone started booing them, and he's like, ha ha.
It is funny. No, it is.
He thought it was the WWE. Greatest thing ever.
It's a surreal experience, to be completely honest. Sitting there 5 or 6 chairs down from Jim Acosta and, all the different guys from Fox News and stuff. And you're just like, I'm in the press pool. People are talking to me like I'm some big deal. I'm like, you realize I just live just east of Newcastle, and I'm not from New York City or DC or whatever. I'm just, but it's pretty neat scenario.
And you're covering as a writer, right? And that's the finished result is you're going to write something, and then you're picked up by different publications.
Correct. It actually is funny enough. I wrote an article for that as well, covering the NRA convention, but didn't expect this to happen. But I covered a video of someone throwing their cell phone at President Trump at the NRA convention, which they at first thought it was somebody that didn't like him, but it turned out to be some dude just fairly drunk. Somehow got in there, and he loved Trump, but he didn't know, and he just threw his phone anyway. So I got that on camera. And
did the president throw it back?
No, he just kind of ignored it. Like he didn't even act like it was a big deal. Neither did Secret Service, which was kind of odd because cell phone, could be anything really. But yeah, that got picked up by dozens of publications. New York or Fox News. RT picked it up. ABC News played it on their.
As long as he's not throwing a galaxy, it's probably not going to explode.
Right. And I don't know what it was. I couldn't confirm. But yeah, I got that. So that was pretty neat. That was unexpected, to get something like that on camera. But yeah, usually I do some writing for them, covering a wide
How'd you
range.
get started with them?
Actually, I started working with the writing portion. That's not where I originally started writing. I started writing for it was a Borderland Alternative Media, a very, very tiny site. It's now it doesn't exist anymore, for a guy named Joe Biggs, who lives down in the Austin, Texas area. And I worked with him. Just happened they were taking submissions because they were just kind of starting their site up. Started writing there for him. They picked up several articles, and then before I knew it, I was editing articles for them. And I really don't know what I'm doing that much, but you just kind of learn on the fly a little bit, and
trial by fire.
Yeah, and then so New Right Network. Once I kind of stopped writing for Borderland, New Right kind of contacted me and asked about writing for them, and I've been doing that.
So, are you doing opinion pieces, or are you writing news when there's something?
A little bit of both.
To the area? What are the
something
topics you generally try to look into?
I do more opinion pieces now. When I was first starting with him, I did a lot more. Just hey, here something happened. I have to get out like a quick 500-word blurb about it and get it out there. But we had a lot of the guys doing that, so I kind of just backed off of that a little bit because I didn't enjoy that as much. I enjoy telling people what I think about things, which I don't know anybody cares, but people do somewhat read it. So that's what I've been doing recently. And just this past week, or actually on Friday, my first piece got picked up for humanevents.com, which Human Events used to be a newspaper, actually a physical paper. Ronald Reagan's favorite go-to newspaper, he said. So that was kind of cool for me. That was kind of
that is neat.
So,
Nice.
but it was the first one that, a paying job scenario.
So
cool. Cool. Yeah.
What are the people in the crowds generally like there? Are they
generally they're great?
Are they like regular Republicans, or are they like Trump train?
There is a big mix. There's definitely those. There's guys that are just over the top. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of those folks, but I would say the majority of people there are pretty laid back people, just there to listen. They don't even really. You'll see. Well, what you'll see is you see everybody on the floor, but that's only a small piece of who's there. The people on
Right.
the floor a lot of times are the more rah type folks. So they are pretty excited to be down there on the floor, standing for like 5 hours while they wait, and then be there. Which I've been that guy. I've been down there standing just in that section too. But I think most of the people in the stands, which sitting in the seats, are generally just people there to listen and just experience the feel of it, which is pretty.
What kind of venues
electric.
has it been? Has it been like a high school arenas, or what kind of?
No, all the ones that I've been to. The U.S. Bank Arena, I've been there twice down in Cincinnati. The NRA convention, which was at Lucas Oil, that was packed out as well. I don't know what the official total was at Lucas Oil, but it had to be stinking close of capacity of what they had mapped off for seats. They didn't have anything behind them and all that stuff because they had all the lighting and whatnot sitting up. But
30,000 people.
It was a lot of people. And at U.S. Bank Arena, with the most recent one I was at back, I guess that was end of July, 1st of August, I think. When he was down there, they actually set a new record in capacity inside of U.S. Bank Arena, which I thought was pretty amazing. And there was another 15,000 outside. So, and people said they weren't there, but I had to walk around the whole entire U.S. Bank Arena because they told me the wrong entrance for the press. And so I walked around the one entrance. They said, no, it's the other side. So I had to walk back around in this blazing heat in my suit, all the way back around. So there was a ton of people. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Honestly, it's amazing to see that many people for one reason, not like a ball game or something.
So have you ever met the president?
I haven't. That's on hopefully the list of things to happen when they say, I'm going to get the invitation to come to the White House.
It's the one area that Rob Kendall's got you beat in.
He does. Rob Kendall does have me beat for sure in that area. I mean, I was very close. I was from me to Chris from him at the last rally. He was walking on the little catwalk out, and I was there, and he gave the little. Well, it's not really a thumbs up. It's more like a pointing of the thumb.
A half thumb.
Yeah. So I got that, but that's as close as I've
Would you
gotten.
say, like, how does he handle during his speeches? Does he sweat a lot? Does he stay generally cool?
He appears to be very moist. Yes. I mean, I get it. I am too, though. It's usually stinking hot in those places. You're standing for, I've been standing for a few hours. You're sweating.
And is he on message, or is it he starts on the prompter and then he just starts riffing?
I would say, I mean, the best parts are when he's not on the prompter, obviously. The sound bites everybody, keys on for if you love Trump. That's kind of things that you enjoy about him somewhat. I would say it's probably 70-30. He stays on top. He gets through he at least has, I would say it's something like a backbone of what he wants to say. I don't think he always sticks verbatim.
Yeah.
And, and he just kind of plays the crowd a little bit too. He's pretty, if you've ever been there, even if you don't like the guy, it's pretty amazing how he can read a room and give them exactly what they want. It's pretty wild, honestly.
It's
just
like
to sit back and see it.
It's like he's a teenager that goes to the Beatles concert, Chase, or the who was just in town this last week? The
Rascal
Train.
Flats.
no, the boy band.
Joe Jonas, Backstreet Boys.
The Jonas Brothers.
My wife went to that, by the way.
The Jonas Brothers.
My wife went to that.
My girlfriend went to that.
Guffey, you're look at you using these labels. Guffy, what'd you bring us?
I brought us spontaneous combustion ghost pepper popcorn made by Southwest.
Where did you go get this popped?
I can neither confirm nor deny where the location was that this got popped.
All right.
Will you walk out in front of the camera and
it's
show
safe
the
for
people?
us though. All right, grab. There's some plates up there. You can grab the plates from the dining area and pile it up. Make a couple plates full, and we'll see who has to tap out first.
Grab some water while you're at it. Yeah.
This may be a deal.
Please grab our guests to water.
Yeah, John Phillips is saying yes. The Jonas Brothers.
No, just the one Jonas.
Jonas. It was just Jonas.
They're no longer brothers.
They quit.
Chase, are you ready for this? Have you been a part of anything except for the one Ghost Pepper episode?
Yeah, I did the ghost pepper episode. I think we also ate peppers at separate time.
Whoa.
And then
They start off mild.
They do.
be
That
warned.
changes pretty quick.
I drank a whole gallon of milk.
Maybe I'm not
Don't
gonna
forget
take-
about that one.
Maybe I'm not going to
Yeah.
take a whole fistful. I'm going to take one.
It's not that bad, though.
I ate 3 of them.
I ate 3 as well, I believe. I didn't pick
They
the
get
ones,
a little spicy.
I didn't pick the ones that had the most color to them.
It's just a natural thing you do. With
Said like a real
popcorn.
Southerner.
They're in a spicy.
Yeah, one is all I need. Chase, the rest of yours.
Ooh. Okay.
I've got a show to host.
Pansy.
Well,
I got a show to host.
so you also have your own Facebook page as
Yes.
a political commentator.
Yes.
And you started the page, and I didn't know you before you were writing or anything, so I don't really know. But did Trump kind of bring you into the world, or have you always just been a Republican type guy?
No, I've been a Republican guy for, like I say, when I was helping my friend runs a Republican for not city council, but school board back in North Carolina. I've always been a Republican since I've been growing up. I just grew up that way naturally. My family was, and I learned that way before.
You're
I knew.
allowed to change your mind.
Yes, I have. I had a debate with someone. Actually, I do most of my better work on Twitter than even Facebook, probably. But where basically I'm a conservative, but he told me that I wasn't a true conservative because I didn't agree with the government just banning stuff that you don't like. So he goes, "Well, you're kind of libertarian there." I said, "Well, yeah, I get that. I'm becoming more libertarian as things go on." If that makes sense.
The more cycles you go through,
One of us.
the more cycles you go through, and your team's not in charge, you realize that they're not conservative or liberal. They're authoritarians.
That's exactly
and
right.
they will use the government's power to do whatever the hell they want to, and then the people will just trade sides and justify it.
Well, it's because, unfortunately, many people feel like it's acceptable that, people I like right now are in charge, so they're doing things I like, they're banning things I like, but they're not always going to be there.
Yeah.
Where I really started becoming more political was back, I guess, funny enough, now I kind of don't know how in the world that I supported John McCain like I did back in the day. I was in college at the time.
You betcha.
Yeah, and it was something. So anyway, that was where I kind of started becoming more politically
You can
active.
tell us it was for Sailor Palin. It's okay.
Yes.
If you had,
All the way.
she's single now, so I mean, you can.
That's true.
If that was the reason,
So I know how
things have changed.
True.
I know how to tell how Republican you are.
Okay.
If you had to kill one person out of Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, and Jesus,
These are all at least dead once. One, yeah. Okay.
like for good, like ever, like wipe them from the history books, which one would it be?
I mean, I guess I have to pick Ronald Reagan.
Lincoln was a war criminal.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Lincoln
I
wasn't
feel
really
like
a good conservative.
I don't disagree with that, but
And he
Yeah.
gave you the log cabin Republican.
I am no comment on that. But yeah, I don't know. That's a difficult question, actually.
Yeah, Chase is good for asking the questions that really no one should
Yeah.
have
So
to answer.
Brad, Brad votes to kill Reagan. Moving on.
Do you foresee Trump winning in 2020?
I don't. I think unless something drastically changes with the economy, I don't think there's any way he loses. To be completely honest, just because I feel like his, one that the media's poll power is kind of dead. No one cares
Yeah,
what the polls
yeah.
say anymore. And I know that these small windows of a rally in a city don't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. But
Right. It's very much an echo chamber.
correct. But still, even on the other side, no one's bringing in 30,000 people on a weekly basis. I mean, it just
Right.
it doesn't matter where he's at. To be completely honest, but I don't think so. Just because
the New York Mets do almost every day.
yes, that's true. That's a valid point that I had not considered before now. But as far as Democrat candidates, I just don't see. I don't see
People
anybody
cheer
beating
for
them.
laundry if we're going
They do.
Seinfeld.
They do, but
Which I think is what we do a little bit with politics too. A little
yes.
tribalism there.
There's no doubt about that.
My daddy was a Mets fan, so I got to be a Mets fan. I was raised
Here-
Republican.
Here's
Right.
the deal. On the Democrat side, you have the baby boomers who will parrot the vote blue no matter who. But if Hillary Clinton proved anything, it was that if millennial and Gen X voters don't get the person that they want in the primary,
They quit.
they won't turn out in the general.
Yep, it's true. And honestly, I am not sold. And you can write this down here, maybe here first. I still think she's going to run, Hillary. I still think she's going to run.
I thought she was getting locked up, man.
Yeah.
Well, as of yet, she is not.
Do they still chant that at the rallies?
At least the last one they did for a couple minutes, and then it just moved on to something else. But there's a lot. The first rally I went to for Trump, it was
There's a lot of
a lot.
chanting.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of chants going on. There's no doubt about that.
Grab her. Oh, sorry.
I have yet to hear that one actually.
You should go to the next one and try to start it.
Is that, see, grab
Chase.
her purse?
Yes.
Is that what- yeah, purse.
Grab
Yes.
her hand.
Oh, jeez. Jesus, Murphy.
I thought I was going to pick a fight with Chase with all my Mets references. You're supposed to be, Yankee boy over here.
If it was the Red Sox, it'd be a different story. But the Mets are just like a roach. You just
Do you think that there's any Democrat that could beat Trump in 2020?
I mean, there's a chance. I think if she got the right running mate,
Saying she.
I think Elizabeth Warren could give him the most trouble.
Oh, I hope not.
Elizabeth
But-
Warren and Mayor Pete.
No, I don't. Actually, I don't
Full
think
diversity
so.
ticket
I've donated to 2 Democrats this
so
year.
far.
Let me guess one.
Okay.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes.
I
Can you guess the
came
second?
very close. I'm gonna say
Bernie Sanders.
I'm gonna say Joe Biden for some reason. I don't know why.
God,
he's
no.
never-
I have no
never-
clue. I have no
never-
clue who
he's
the
never
second
doing that.
person is.
Jesus, Murphy.
Was it Mike Gravel?
It was,
Was it
it was
Yang?
Andrew Yang.
Yeah. You just want to
Yang
enter his
gang.
lottery.
Yang gang. Yeah.
All right. This is not in the notes, but I feel like since Chase is here, we should give you a good 5 minutes of sports.
Oh yeah.
Do you have an NFL update? You have any takes? Some hot takes from the weekend?
Do you have a
You're
Final
wearing-
Fan?
You're wearing a long sleeve shirt that says "Football Guys Guy."
It's a Barstool shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Colts are in trouble. They don't have a quarterback and they don't have a kicker.
The Colts have had they've thrown 5 touchdowns and 1 interception.
I heard that we might be getting Eli Manning.
Brissett's stat line.
That'd be cool.
Brissett's stat line looks identical to Andrew Luck's from last year, the first 2 games. I think they're okay on that front. The kicker one, Cody Parkey's looking pretty good.
Coming from a person with experience, the kicker is the most important role
Laces
on a
up.
football team.
Double doink, baby.
Bears have a kicker. We don't have a quarterback, but we have a kicker.
Our friend Liam Pinheiro is kicking now for the Bears, and it looked like
Eddie
he was
Money,
pretty damn
baby.
good
Pinheiro.
in Denver. He
Go!
they got really lucky.
Well,
How were you doing Sunday afternoon? About 6:30.
If you want to, you can say we got lucky, but really we almost got fucked. you could
it's
say
not
that
8:00.
Oh God.
7:59.
because
I'm
we
so
had
sorry,
a pick
Kirsten.
6 that was cut
Blacklisted.
short. They said he was down, but he never even hit the ground. So it was kind of some BS there. We did have to kick a game-winning field goal. They made it. It was pretty awesome. The Patriots are unstoppable this year,
Oh, they will be. Absolutely.
so they're going to win the Super Bowl.
It's like watching. Michael Jordan's era of basketball.
It's a whole
Yes.
nother level, man. It's nuts.
Yes, but there's no retirement in between.
Yeah,
Don't we
well,
know at
just
some
think
point
about
that
it.
Tom Brady's going to get hurt? There's like 8
It's like-
starting quarterbacks.
No,
that
because
are gone.
It's like
Tom Brady's healthier than he's healthier than
Dude hasn't eaten processed sugar the entire
Baker
time he's
Mayfield.
been in the NFL.
He looks way healthier than Baker Mayfield.
the Patriots right now are like Mike Tyson in his 20s.
absolutely can't be.
They
Stopped.
could go another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I thought
I
I
think
thought there was
Tom's
a
got 2 more
Ben
years. in him.
Roethlisberger reference coming in there.
Nope.
How's his elbow?
Pretty sure he's dead. I don't know if he's coming back. Usually it's his foot, and he'll throw the boot on for like a
Listen-
day or two, and it'll look really cool. And then he comes
We
back
thought,
and kills people.
Elizabeth Dole was also dead, but
But she's back. She is back.
Breaking news: Ben Roethlisberger is coming back next week.
Chase
Yes.
$5 bet.
Okay.
Monday night.
Oh baby,
Oh baby, you going to give me the over under?
I don't. Is the over under out yet?
I should think so. I'll check. I'll check. The
Check
parlay.
on the over under.
I'll check the.
I'll
parlay.
take Bears. You take Redskins.
Well, of course.
It's not even going to be close. I'll be honest, Guffey. Trubisky's waiting for a breakout game.
North
Last year.
Carolina product right there.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
I love Trubisky.
Same.
I've backed him this whole time. He's starting to worry me. I'm not going to lie. I'm losing faith.
He'll bring it back.
But last year, he sucked until the 3rd game, and then he had 6 touchdowns.
In one game?
It might have not been 6 touchdowns, but he gave me like 60 points in fantasy. He had at least 4.
Who's your quarterback this year in fantasy?
I have a couple. I have like a billion
In the
fantasy
league we
leagues.
care about. You don't even know. Oh, God.
Trubisky. I have Trubisky.
I've got the GOAT, baby.
I have Trubisky in our league
Got the
because
goat.
I waited until the last second to grab one, and he was the only person I liked left, so I grabbed him. I have Carson Wentz in another league, and I have I think I have Case Keenum in one because I got my quarterback got hurt. I think.
Got Cam Newton. Not good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a
Yeah,
Panthers
that's rough.
fan picked him up thinking, oh, yeah, he's going to be ready this year.
I
Nope.
fell into that lie a
Sucks.
year or two ago,
Yeah.
and I've never been back.
Well, when he's actually playing semi-healthy, he's decent, but
Yeah.
but he's not running right now, so Lord knows he can't throw the ball half the time. So
I had the Colts defense at one point, and
Solid.
I changed that after week 1.
solid pick.
And then my Adam Vinatieri has bit me in the butt over and over again.
Okay, Jer.
Oh, hey, Chase, real quick.
Yeah.
Chicago's negative 4.5. So down 4.5. Still want the bet?
Pretty sure that means we're winning, right?
Yeah, you're the favorite by 4.5.
4.5 over who?
Chicago.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Chicago's not playing Chicago. Who's the opponent?
Washington.
Redskins.
This
Redskins,
week?
yes.
It's this
If
week.
I could have got
Monday.
time off, we would have went to that game. So next time they play, we should go.
We should.
Obviously, they'll be meeting in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, the Bears will be there, but... So, predictions.
For that game?
No. Well, you can go for that game. but-
Redskins 2, the Ditkas 75.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, watch this.
I'm Team Bear.
Get out of here.
This is my show. Don't mute me.
Da Bears.
End of season predictions, share.
End of season? So early. It's so early. The Lions suck. Your division. You're probably going to be 10-6. I think you'd be 10-6.
I think we're going to be at least a wild card team because we should have beat the Packers. I mean, we have everything except for a
That was the
decent
worst
quarterback.
game ever, by the way.
I was there.
Oh,
I was
well,
at the game.
Thank you for that.
Awesome for the first few drives.
Sure.
Very boring for the rest of it.
Yeah.
We have everything but a quarterback, basically. And he shows potential. Like every game, he shows potential, and he gets better throughout the season. I think we got it. I think we're going to win the division.
You nearly started 0-2, and you're predicting the playoffs.
We are one drive from starting 2-0, and we are one drive from starting 0-2.
Yes.
And we have
Welcome to the NFL. That's
We
also
have-
the same thing for the Colts.
we have a top
Greatness is on a
three.
knife's edge.
We have a top 3 defense. We have the best kicker in the league. We have weapons on offense. We just got to figure that part of it out. I'm saying we win
all
the
there is to
division.
it.
I'm saying at the worst, we get the wild card. I'm saying Colts are a wild card team.
I think Colts win their division.
Who's all in their division? You got Houston.
Indianapolis, Jacksonville,
Tennessee.
Houston, Tennessee. The Colts are in first place now.
Yeah, possibly. Your division sucks too.
Tennessee had beat the Browns, and the Colts beat the Titans, so that put them in first place.
I'm not worried about the Vikings at all. Packers, I'm not going to lie, worry me a little bit. Their defense is pretty good this year. Aaron Rodgers, Satan in human flesh.
And the Lions had a tie, right?
I'm not worried about the Lions at all. I'm not worried about the Lions or the Vikings. It's going to come down to us and the Packers.
All right. That's 5 minutes of sports
Super
with Chase
Bowl.
Peyton.
Patriots, Bears. Bears are going to beat them in Miami again.
And
Wow.
30,
You're on drugs.
30 seconds of racing. I really, really enjoyed the first of the NASCAR playoffs. Strongly recommend the Dale Jr. download again this week. Excellent with Ron Hornaday and Dale Jr. But
Were there any crashes?
Kyle Busch ran into some dude and got pissed at him.
Did anyone die?
Nobody died. Nothing.
What about Dale Earnhardt? He died?
That was 20 years ago, buddy.
Wow.
Low blow. How much time we got, Dakota?
What about his son?
We're good.
Hey,
for
how's his son doing, Jer?
Who?
Junior.
Dale Jr. doesn't have a son.
No. Earnhardt's son, Junior.
Yeah, he's retired.
Oh, yeah.
He
that's
ran
right.
Darlington a couple weeks ago.
He was in a plane wreck a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
he's his shoulder's banged up. You should once again listen to that podcast.
How dare you.
Really, really good.
where are we at in my show notes here?
We've been riffing on sports for a minute, but it's time for the money talk segment with lender Brad.
That's right. So the very first thing that I
How do you rob a bank?
Well, step one.
Some might say the banks have been robbing you the whole time.
But I'm done. Yeah. true.
with high interest credit cards.
I'm sorry, Dakota. Go ahead.
The first thing I wanted to do was go around the room and see what banks everyone in the room uses. Let's start out with Chris Guffey.
My primary bank with my checking and savings is with Capital One because I like all online. And then I have a car loan through Mr. Brewer's.
There's also two
Credit
sub
union.
questions. If you could answer those questions in your answer, please.
How many accounts? Okay. Are we including credit cards or just like checking, savings?
Just checking and savings.
This is
Three.
if somebody does a lot of their homework, they're going to figure out how to start accessing a lot of funds here. So this will be really cute.
Yeah.
Three total. 2 with Capital One, 1 with Brewer's Bank.
Here you go.
Well, his credit union.
Credit union, please. Thank you.
Yes.
How many times are we going to make that mistake today, boys?
A few.
We still have a few more times.
It happens.
Chase, I guess we're going around the room.
Yes.
Hold on, Chase. Do you know the difference between a banking, like a?
We're going to get to that in a minute. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Hey,
Thanks
we'll host. You press the buttons and look cute over there, pretty
Thanks
boy.
for reading the notes that I sent 12 hours ago.
He was, once again, the claymation. It's going to keep coming back up today.
Yep. Hey, Chase, you're on the clock.
Oh, yeah. I use First Financial.
For
And
everything?
They suck. Oh, well, I mean, not on my credit cards or.
Did you see Brewer's face? He goes,
It's like,
"What?
what?
So when I was 18 years old, I opened up an account with the People's Trust Company. And People's Trust Company became Main Source Bank, which is now First Financial.
There you go.
So my primary checking is with those folks, but I have
I loved Main Source.
I have accounts with Star. I have accounts with Union Savings Bank.
Diversification.
My main complaint for
And,
First Financial is I had a cool card with Main Source.
Your
It was
and yellow.
blue and gold. And with this, it's just yellow, and it's
Show-
kind of ugly.
Show your card to the TV. Card.
All right.
Yeah,
and then
just pull
give
it
the
out.
back numbers
Yeah.
off the back, please.
and then the zip is still 47362. Is that
Perfect.
accurate?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Perfect. Great. Thanks. Yeah. So and then I've got I went in and visited my boy Brad and got me hooked up in January with a loan for a company reimbursed vehicle. So
That's true.
The CMC GMC Terrain is financed by the.
How's she doing, by the way? Let's check in.
Drove her to Ohio today.
Perfect.
Working all right.
Good deal.
So I've got 2, soon to be 3. Bank
Oh,
accounts
baby.
At Star Bank. And I have another bank account at Citizens State Bank. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, and
Diversification.
I just closed my Muncie Town Federal Credit Union account.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's
I grew up in a credit union family. CCOM Credit Union in Northern New York was that was the family deal. Everybody went to CCOM.
So what's the difference?
biggest difference between a credit union and a bank is credit unions are local based. Obviously, they're well, obviously there's some that are larger. I think was it Three Rivers coming into Richmond here, taking over West End here the next quarter. Well, actually first quarter 2020, but is a little bit larger. But most credit unions are quite a bit smaller. They're all basically everybody. It's a share program basically. Everybody has their piece of the pie. There's not for profit, so it's not like we have shareholders versus banks have shareholders. They're having to make sure they keep happy with their dividends and things like that. As well, everything stays local. Whereas, I've been in both big banks and in credit unions, so I kind of have the dual sides here. There are benefits, obviously, of both. I mean, I can't say there's not. I think I'd be lying if I didn't say that. But the credit union, what we can do better than banks can do is our lending capabilities. We can do things that big banks can't do or probably just won't do because it's a numbers game.
You're dealing with local decision makers in a credit
Right.
union, whereas with a bank, you're on hold to
Correct.
somebody and you don't know what's going to happen, or somebody that you'll never meet.
Can
is
I
making
have
the big
your
decision.
credit card number? Something like that.
Something like
Jer?
that. Yeah. Something.
Oof, big racist.
Yeah.
I support all the races. Big NASCAR fan.
I will say this is that back onto what you're saying, the lending side, most of the decision making, if you go to a bank, is not in house or even in city. Okay. They're only
They're
inputting.
taking an application, and then
Inputters.
somebody somewhere
Correct.
else is going to review
Usually,
it. And
like
make a call.
for U.S. Bank, it was in Cincinnati or out in Colorado or another big city, but it wasn't local. So you really had no way to, a lot of times had no way to fight for the case of your customer, right? You didn't have a way to tell their story. Whereas the credit union, that's the nice thing about that is it's a, in my branch, we're making decisions in branch. We're making the Newcastle branch is making decisions for itself. Obviously, we still have auditors and things like that, so we have to be, do things by the book. But I can get to know an individual. I can hear the story situation. I can see, look at the credit, look at the income, whatever. There may be some wiggle room there, and based on what I know about this individual, I can make decisions based on that, within policy. But there's a lot more leeway there than I could ever have at a bank.
I've seen credit unions make loans on older vehicles, possibly.
Sure.
That they may have guidelines, but they say,
Sure.
I know this is your 2005 truck, and we really shouldn't loan anything older than a 2009 at this point, right?
Right.
But you'll see that kind of a thing happen at a credit union where it's a local decision maker saying the guy only wants $5,000. It's
right, and it's definitely true. I mean, I know when I worked with U.S. Bank, I don't know. I guess I can talk about what we did there with them, but they had to be something. I think it was 7 years or newer is the vehicle, or else you couldn't lend on that vehicle, at least not under standard terms. You could do alt lending and things like that. But with the credit union, we have a lot more. We can go older vehicles. Now, obviously, we don't give exorbitant amounts of money on vehicles that are old and not worth it. But and there will be some rate changes there based on how old the vehicle is.
Right.
But what it does do is it opens up the opportunity for financial mobility, even within people that aren't the top shelf as far as credit and income. And in newer vehicles, we can help a wider scope of people, which has been really, really nice, to be able to work with the folks in Newcastle.
And then you guys do other lending products. Assume you do houses, RVs, those sorts of things as well. Businesses.
Everything you can do at a bank, you can do at a credit union.
Yep.
It's just end of story. There may be different processes to go through it just because things are, we are regulated the same but different, if that makes sense. So there are different processes for different things. Sometimes most of our stuff is quicker than a bank just because you're going through several more, a lot more hoops in the banking world versus credit unions. Like I say, it goes back to the more local scenario. We can usually speed things up a little bit, which helps. But, there are things that people, view as negatives, like, not having branches all over the country, not having, our credit union is one thing credit unions usually have is a shared branch network, which most credit unions have that. Ours does not. But we also make it very easy. We've integrated new systems that allow you to use your card nationwide without having problems. And we're all, we do have that backup support of a card processor that can handle that.
One thing that I found whenever I was looking this up for the show was that credit unions, it seems like no matter which credit union it is, they always boast that their fees are going to be way lower than a bank's. How is it that you can keep those fees that much lower?
Well, banks are making a lot of money on fees. And so here's for our credit union, let me back up a little bit. At the bank world, there's a lot less to get in the door as far as, you can come open a checking account for any reason. You don't have to put any skin in the game as far as the deposit usually. Things like that. Whereas the credit union, I can speak to us, what we do. I can't speak to every credit union, obviously, but for a savings account, we do require $25 to go in a savings account. It's called your share because you're buying in to the co-op portion of the credit union.
You become a voting member of the organization, then you're a decision maker.
And you hold as much voting power as any employee, anybody. The person that has $25, the person that has $25 million. If you're out there, come to the credit union first off. But either of those, both those people would have the same voting rights within the credit union.
How much money moves the needle for you, Brad? When somebody is like, "Hey, I got $10,000." Okay, whatever. Take his phone call. Oh, I have $20 million. Yeah, we'll pick him up at his door. What's the number?
Every member that has $1 to give has equal access. And that is the only answer I'm going to get from this table. My door is always open. You can ask Chris. If I could close my door, it would have closed by now for Chris,
Yeah.
For sure.
I legitimately harass him.
Aren't you glad I gave you that referral?
Thanks, by the way. The gift, the key. No, he messages me. I have a few members that I know personally that do message me, and One of them is Chris, so it's fine. But I gave him permission. He did say, "Is this okay?" So he asked for my consent.
He gets Jeep fever, and then he just wants somebody. If you just start telling him no, then he'll stop.
That's
going
what you
got to
do.
Lot. No,
Brad, you just got to tell me no.
We can't.
No.
That one's a no today. No, that
He's
one's a
like,
no.
oh,
today.
no.
Like
He's
grab
a-
his hand, now, Chris.
No.
Listen, we're not going to do that today.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a-
Not, you're
he's a
good.
money
get
bear
Jeep
Maya.
fever. I
No,
get it.
you know, it's but yeah, we have the nice thing about it is, and that is a big thing that I do love about working with the credit union is that I know pretty much all of our members. Obviously, some of them better than others that come in all the time. But you know, versus banks, I know there was a lot of things that I couldn't fix in the branch. You'd come in, you want me to fix something. There's only so many things I can fix. And so I'd have to push that off, say, well, I'm going to have to give you a call back. I have to talk to these people. That'll have to talk to those people and find out an answer. And it could be days later.
So it's the local freedom that the credit union can afford its members that really makes it topple the banks.
Yeah, and we don't, like I said, we back to what you touched on earlier, we don't charge the fee structure. We keep that as light as we can. Obviously, we have to be able to support the credit union infrastructure itself to continue to have that available for the membership. But we're not making hand over fist like the banks are. There's no doubt about that.
So there's a couple of objections that, you know, as I look at it and I make my decisions as to where I'm going to bank,
Sure.
the things that I've looked at and go, oh, well, those would be concerns or things I'd want to think about. I know that the other credit union in town, it's like, hey, if you're going to go to Chicagoland, our debit card's not going to work there, right? They're afraid of fraud or activities or issues.
That's a big problem.
So there are restrictions that they put on their cards.
Shoot.
You broke our mic stand. He's loading a spring that's going to come back and smack me in the face.
And my hands are buttery.
How about
Buttery hands.
How about we just leave it until later so I don't die?
No, I'm almost there.
That's what she said. All right, so
There's kids listening, Jer.
my objection was that, you know, sometimes in certain areas that they just don't work.
Oh man, I had it.
You did.
I'm sorry. All right, I'll stop.
All right, we're
So you were saying earlier that if I slip you a 20 on the side, you'll basically write me a blank check.
Broadcasting professionals here.
Let's talk after. No, I cannot do that. No, but yeah, Jeremiah, you're exactly right. We even had issues with that ourselves. I can't, you know, up until recently, we actually recently switched over to a new processor that is going to allow us to. Wow, that is so easy.
Wow. I have slippery hands. Okay,
butter hands over here can't get it.
He's over here drinking a buttery nipple. All right, and then the other thing is there's the technology the same.
Sure.
So can you do the mobile deposits? Can you do all of that stuff that
that as
you
far
can
as
with other
imaging, like taking a picture? We don't have that currently in our setup, but we do have everything else. As far as the online banking is top end. You do have access to doing any of the transfers you need to get done. We can get all those things done. Yeah. You have access to using ATMs all across the country. We're not going to charge you for those, so you're going to have access to that. Now, obviously, you have to watch out for places that will charge you on their end. We can't control what they do, but actually, if you do go to an ATM, we try to help you out with that. If it's something like you don't have access to something, we will try to. Usually, at the branch level, we'll help you out with those scenarios too, because we get it.
But a lot of
we
times,
wanna
some
make
folks
that
can go to a
convenient
grocery
as
store and
possible.
do the $200 cash back thing too,
Of course.
and get around it. So if you're traveling, it's somewhat common to do that with a debit card.
And we had a big problem with, there's obviously fraud is prevalent in the world today. So the difference is big banks can have a lot bigger threshold to absorb some of those losses.
Right.
Whereas credit unions, smaller banks and credit unions both deal with the same problem. We can't afford to keep taking those hits because if it's under certain thresholds, we just have to eat it. It doesn't get sent off. It doesn't get paid for. We have to just cover that for our members.
You're self-insuring it.
Correct. So it can become a real big problem because places know that and they do small amounts. So, but the nice thing about this, and so we had before had not allowed, if you're traveling, it was a lot more restrictive, especially outside the country, things like that. But now with our new system, we integrated about a month and a half ago. We're really able to stretch that out. You're not going to have any problems traveling. Going to Chicago, going to New York City, going to Denver, going to LA, whatever. You're not going to have problems, outside the norm. Something weird shows up. You have to call the number on the back of the card, confirm it was your purchase, and you're back in business. So nothing outside the norm for credit union versus the bank in that scenario.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about my roads, Jeremiah. This has been what you've been itching to talk about, I know.
Yeah, so kind of came to a head this weekend. We talked about it on this show And I think we reported the news to everybody about 2 months ago that INDOT had awarded I-70 from the east side of Indianapolis all the way to the state line to Beatty Construction of Shelby County. And the last 2 weeks or so, the orange barrels have been out and the lane restrictions have been in place.
The state flower.
And I work in the road construction industry as a material supplier. So the Morrell household has an official policy that we will not bitch about road construction in any way, because that is that's what keeps
Put foods on the table.
keeps the credit union folks paid. So
There you go.
we don't complain about it in our house. That's the livelihood. But I did get stuck in the traffic myself today as well. I went to Ohio and I sat around Centerville on I-70 for a good 15, 20 minutes, because it's one lane and there were actively workers out there and people were being very cautious. And we were stop and go, and then sometimes we were going about 10 miles an hour. So I get it. But this weekend, INDOT had another black eye. Their plan for I-70 maintenance required a total shutdown, an emergency shutdown, twice on Saturday and then Sunday afternoon, all the way to Monday morning at about 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Where the basically their plan was they shifted traffic onto the shoulder, and I-70 has as much truck traffic as any other interstate in the state. And when you put 40 tons every 3 seconds on the shoulder of a road after a rainfall, all of a sudden the shoulder starts to fail.
Right.
And that's what happened. And they they realized it. They shut it down. And it's not the first time it's happened. It also happened on I-69. If you remember last spring,
Yep.
same thing happened on I-69 in the Anderson area during that active construction zone. And I think what we're seeing is INDOT finally has money. A year and a half ago, they raised the state income tax. So now some of these projects that have been put off and they've kicked the can down the road for years and years and years are finally getting done. And they're so far gone that the normal process of here's what we do with traffic and here's where we put it. All of a sudden the roads aren't handling
Can't handle it.
They're not handling the volume.
That was one of my questions for you was we have all these state projects that are happening now. We had the state, we had the tax increase, and then we also had the gas tax increase that passed last year. Are we seeing the payoff from that now? Like, is the state finally saying we have the money for it? We need to try to knock all these different projects that have been there for forever off of our list.
There's multiple things going on. There's standard maintenance, like 40 in East Greenfield to Knightstown has been chip sealed, which is the normal extension of pavement life. So they will come through, they'll put down oil, they will put down rock as a new wearing sealant, and then they will put a new wearing surface, and then they will seal it on top.
Yep.
And in that process, when the rock is down but the sealant's not over it, it feels like you're driving on a gravel road, because it basically is a gravel road.
Right.
And there aren't any pavement markings, and everybody complains about it. And it sucks for about 2 or 3 days. Once the chip seal is done, all of a sudden it feels like you can't tell.
Right.
2 weeks after it's been chip sealed, you can't tell that that's a chip seal road. It's just like any other asphalt road.
Yeah.
During the paving process, it does blow, but it extends that pavement's life a long time.
Yep.
So it's actually a great use of public funds to get you more life.
They did that on one going down from towards Cambridge City down south that way for not too long ago.
Yeah, it happens on 36, happens on 38. It's typically used not on your interstates, but on your 2-lane state roads, federal roads, and 40 is another typical, not interstate quality, but your major numbered highways.
They're
usually
affairs.
what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I guess what I was curious
And the
about
counties will do it
with
as well.
the chip seal was it does save the taxpayers a bunch of money than trying to repave a road. Why isn't it something that we see on county roads? Why
You do see
we when we don't see it? I feel like I don't see it that often. I see it about as much as what I see new pavement.
It has to be
based
done
on the condition that the road is in?
it has to be done in a timely manner. And once again, a lot of times what happens and has happened over the last 30 years in this county is you'll put down new asphalt and then you'll never get back to it to crack seal. You never had the right profile on it to get rid of
So your
water.
base is bad.
So then, and the road never gets preserved. So then water gets in, you get your blowouts, and then it's too much to chip seal, and then they come back through and they end up repaving. if you have a good maintenance plan and chip sealing is a part of that maintenance plan, Rush County does a great job with their roads. They're narrow,
Rush County
they're
does do a great
crowned,
job.
and they chip seal on the regular. They do a great job with them.
The only problem with a lot of the Rush County roads is that, well, they are narrow. And for guys like me, driving around in a bucket truck, it can be sketchy whenever a farmer's coming and he's got his mirrors extended and I have my mirrors
I
extended.
hate farmers.
Yeah, right. One of us has got to get off in the grass. It's just
That's the reality of life, though, because they don't have enough traffic count to justify
yeah.
to justify the big roads.
I
and all of
understand it. It's like, but you got to find something to complain about.
Yeah, you just like the bitch. And long term, I don't think they've got. I don't think they have the money budgeted to get 70 to 3 lanes. But once again, if we can get 70 to 3 lanes throughout the state of Indiana, when you have a maintenance project like this, and all of a sudden you're taking this truck traffic and you're going from 3 lanes to 2 instead of 2 to 1, and having shut it down, it's going to be much safer
Because the 1 isn't even a 1 ; it's just
it's a shoulder.
It's
Right.
kind of half a road, really.
Yeah, it's you're
And
barely
that's-
maintaining traffic.
And that's why I put this question at the end of the roads segment for everybody here, because we're all pretty local people. I want to know, like, what's one state project you would like to see happen, and what one local project you would like to see happen is. So, Chris, you're starting out again, bud.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I am wholeheartedly hearted that they're doing 70 because I drive to Indy fairly regular in the wintertime. And so if I can get a nice smooth road, got to get that Indy fuel in. Let's see. What was the other one? City, county?
Yeah, whatever.
Local?
Just local. I left it open-ended.
Well, we just redid Main Street from city border to city border. So the boundary to boundary. Probably, I don't know. Honestly, I can't think of. I mean, obviously, you're gonna have potholes, but I mean,
what are you chewing on?
plastic cap. I am a goat.
That's good radio, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wait, does it have to be road related?
That is the topic. But if you have to talk about the Bears again, talk about the Bears again.
What about you, Chase?
I just want it done on 70. I drive on 70 every day. It's a little ridiculous. I was getting a little pissy on the way home today. Locally, I would like to see the Doughboy moved back to its original location like our grandfathers intended it.
Bring back
Right.
the Doughboy.
Now that you've had a moment to think, Chris.
No, Chase just, completely derailed me there. You guys go around the table. Let me think.
Okay. All right, what about you, Brad?
Well, I would say, obviously 70 is a really easy answer.
Yeah.
Just because it is something with the thoroughfare we all use to get to major cities, obviously getting to Dayton or getting to Indianapolis, either one. So just getting that serviceable, because if you go up even towards Richmond, they're getting some of that cleared up somewhat now, a little bit. But for a while, it was you could hardly drive on 70 through there without feeling like either you're going to blow a tire and run in somebody, or vice versa, and catastrophe was going to break out at any moment. But locally, I would like to see. Usually I drive 38 up from close to Hagerstown up here to town to come to work. But very often I'll come up, if I'm running a little later than I should be, come up 200 because I don't drive any faster on that road than I do any other road.
I use 200. When I come back
wink,
when I come back from Dayton, I take 70 to Wilbur Wright Road, 200, which becomes Riley Road, and then I'm home.
And the thing is, and there's parts of not just that road, but that's just the one I'm on regularly, that are they're pretty rough. You're driving through there, you're hitting, you have to know the road, or else you can seriously jack up your car.
You think 200 is bad? Try 300.
Yeah, I haven't got on 300 that much, so I don't know. But yeah, 200 is pretty bad in spots, especially towards the county line, towards the Wayne County line. It's really, really bad. Just because that's the area. I'll drive through that area quite a bit more than some of the other areas, but they're pretty rough. So I'd like to see those areas kind of get, like I say, I don't even know I don't think they could be chip sealed at this point, because they're so far. They're going to have to be new pavement put down just because they're so destroyed.
Travis Ham is in the chat and says State Road 3 needs work, and it does through town. Buckle up, because it's coming. I think it's in the 2020 or 2021 plan. So Newcastle will be nice and gridlocked for everybody,
especially
when
into
that
turns,
happens.
turning off of
Yeah.
side roads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
cuts out of the.
I'd like to see him add a slow as ass lane on 70. That'd be nice because there's a lot of slow drivers.
Get that third lane added.
Yes.
Well, I've got
So-
3 answers.
I kind of have 3 answers too, because of course, I'd like to see 70 better because it is just in such bad shape right now.
Right.
But then also, State Road 3 is what I was thinking of. I know that probably no one else in here has this issue, but it's like the spacing on our trucks at work for the axles
Oh yeah.
is it's like right at the perfect amount of space to where you're hitting the ridges in between the concrete
same time.
slabs at the same time, and then you're just bam, bam, bam.
It's like a wagon.
Yeah, the whole time you're going down the road. That's horribly annoying. A local thing that I would like to see is straight up just the roundabouts that are in the comprehensive plan. I think that those could be really beneficial to traffic flow in the county. All right, Chris, before we end it, you're looking at me like you got something. Nope. Okay.
All right. Riley road speed limits. Those need fixed. We've been banging that drum. 30 miles an hour unless kids are actually present. That needs to be the law. 70 needs to be 3 lanes across the state, coast to coast. So does 65 from Chicago to Louisville.
Yeah.
You can get to Dublin. You can get to I-70, but we don't have a road to Middletown. This community, I-69 is going to grow. That corridor is going to grow.
Yep.
And Middletown is cut off from Newcastle and from the center of the community. Dublin Pike needs to go all the way to Middletown. One
good
way
idea.
or another, you need a quicker, better route to Middletown that doesn't take 25 minutes. It feels like it's
To go around the
you
bend.
you may as well be going to the north side of Muncie to go to Middletown.
Yeah, because as the crow flies, it's really not far away.
Right. But there's no direct route
Yeah.
right, whatsoever. And I-70 and State Road 103. That interchange is out there.
Yeah, I
That's
was gonna
another
say-
area that's probably going to need developed at some point, and we need to do that.
Yeah, the ramp. Needs to be a ramp out there. 70, 103.
Now, would the state take hold of that, or would that be all
the
us?
locals would have to ask for it and petition for it and demonstrate a need for development, but the state would do it.
Do we know if
That's
that
a Tom Saunders project.
Has that happened in the past? Have we petitioned for that?
It's in the comprehensive plan.
Well, I do believe that it has been mentioned, the fact that get an exit there. But I believe NDOT came back and said that the exit is too close to the 3 exit. Like there's a certain mileage that they want
They want between exits.
between exits and 103.
It depends upon the busyness and the traffic patterns.
So, but yeah, no,
it's plausible.
If you get an exit there, I think that area can truly develop.
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
industrial,
Sure.
because it's just going to be easier access, and people aren't going to be on 3 all the time. So we'll see what happens.
All right, I think that we are at the final thoughts portion of our show, Jeremiah, and we have a bunch of them.
We do. I have. I guess we'll start with Guffey and work our way around.
Yep.
Is that that's the way this show normally works, right?
Yeah, it does. So
No caps in the mouth or anything, right?
Nope. Took it out. So first, I want to mention the adult education welding class. Does anybody else
Oh
have
yeah,
this?
no.
It is being put on by the Career Center and our wonderful friend, Stephen Vidito. Looks like
Steve Vitato.
it's Vitato.
Steven.
Yep.
Steven.
You just got to get in contact with him or the Career Center, and you can take basic welding. Looks like 3 different kinds of welding, it appears. Starting October 29th from 6 to 9 every Tuesday and Wednesday for 5 weeks.
MIG, TIG, and microwave. I think are the 3. You just put it.
Steven's
You just
coming
don't
to
take
my
the
work.
wrapper off.
Steven's coming to my work to teach me how to weld.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's something I wanted to mention. And then also the budget for the city. We had our first reading on Monday. There was a lot of yes votes.
Did you win?
Did I win? I know.
Isn't that what you're running for?
Yeah, I'm running, but November 5th, Chase. Keep
okay.
up, buddy.
Sorry. I would follow you, but you won't add me on
You won't
Facebook.
add me. You will at the end of the
all
season. But anyways, so the budget had its first reading. A lot of yeses. Aaron Dickin was the only one to vote no to the general budget, and he voted no to the fireman's salary. Everything else was voted for yes.
No one's going to his house during a fire.
I think he was on the side
Well-
of giving them raises, but they didn't get offered.
Oh, never mind.
Well, and this is something that came out in the
They'll
city.
send extra fire trucks to his house.
This is something that came out during the public meeting, the public comments. One of the firefighters, there was several firefighters present, but one did actually get up and speak. I don't recall his name at the time, but it appears as though the fire department did not even hold negotiations with the city administration. So
The fire department's local union never
They-
got a chance to negotiate
yeah, and
in terms of their
it's just
contract.
the guy even said, he's like, look, even if it resulted in no raise, it still would have been good faith just to sit down across from each other and negotiate.
Yeah, that's a black eye on the city's behalf, I think.
And I think I even heard that the local FOP didn't even get to sit down and negotiate either. So
You were doing some sleuthing today, and you saw that there's a for sale sign in the theater again.
you know me, man. I'm always
You
out
get
and
your ear
about.
to the ground.
Always.
What do you know about that?
I heard the original offer fell through, and now we're back at a for sale sign.
Guffey, if I were to buy the theater, could I turn it into a landfill? Because that is all it's good for at this point.
I don't know. I don't think you could turn it into a landfill. I'd have to check the city ordinances, but you could tear it down, obviously. Or what you could do is allow the fire department to test and burn that place down
Wow.
so they can have
Wow.
a test.
We could sell popcorn outside.
They just burn a house down on 17th and Plum as a
There
training
are so many
exercise.
old people in this town that would be pissed. If I had the money, I would do that.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm not saying that it
you
needs
know
to be
for a
burned down.
fact that if you had the money,
All of our
you
great
wouldn't-
memories.
you
If
wouldn't
I
touch that
had
place.
stupid money,
All of our
I
great
would do
memories
that.
together,
What is
Chase,
stupid money?
in that theater.
Like
and
millions, like
and you
hundreds
would
of
burn
millions,
Hundreds
or
of millions.
50s of millions, tens of millions.
Cody
Couple
Parkey
million.
money. If you had
Just
Cody
a
Parkey
couple
money.
million.
20,000.
If I had the money to buy the building,
Hey, Brad, how likely is it you'll give Chase some money to borrow against a theater he wants to burn
He
down?
just got a new job.
well, that's always a great sign. I'm sure he's within that 90-day window, so I'm thinking
He lives with his grandparents.
cash flow is great right now.
Or do they live with him?
It's hard to say. Well, I'm let's say
True, I do help out.
be in pending review
Sorry
status.
for that insult, Chase. You
Pending review status is probably where it's going to sit for a while.
Oh, man.
I had to guess.
Not
I've
looking
never
good.
had a problem getting a loan. Thank you very much.
How many movie theaters have you bought in the last your life?
Do you have a
Quite a few.
business plan for this bonfire?
Local. So,
Controlled burn.
is it my turn for
Yeah,
final
it's your
thoughts?
turn.
Okay. So earlier we did what common animal are you most afraid of in
That
the
was in the
Patreon,
Patreon,
portion. I saved mine for the audience. The most common animal I am afraid of is the pit bull. You know why? Because they kill and eat children.
Wow.
I have some
Took a risk
statistics.
there. Took a risk.
I
Is he
have
the troll of the group or what tonight?
I have some statistics to back that up online. I Googled it.
Oh, you went to the Wikipedia and
Wow.
edited it?
I found that 71% of fatal dog attacks from 2011 to 2017 were from pit bulls. They kill roughly 1,000 children or childs or kids a year. They also like to attack old ladies.
Wow.
And
just in general?
yeah, just in general, if you're old, don't get
Watch
a pit
out.
bull. You'll probably
Here's
be
my
eaten.
question.
If you die, they will eat you for sure.
You know what's
Mr.
weird?
Expert, hold on, Chris. Mr. Expert
Yes.
on pit bulls. If there was a child and an old woman
Mm-hmm.
and they're one pit bull, which one would he go for? Which one do you think?
And they
like
hadn't met
more?
their
Well-
1,000 per kid quota for the year.
How old is the lady and how fat is the child?
We're talking average sized child.
We're talking
Healthy?
Dakota's living grandma and the new baby.
I've never seen his grandma.
Hitting
though.
close to home right now.
So about roughly an 80-year-old woman.
Oh, definitely the old lady.
You think so?
Yeah, because she's going to put up less of a fight.
I don't know.
Then a newborn?
Not a newborn. How old's the kid?
3.
Oh, he's killing the kid.
Going
And
for the
then
kid.
he's going to attack the old lady.
going
He's
both.
going to eat them both.
They have a lot of energy then.
Because
Is what you're telling me.
pit bulls are terrible animals.
You already have 47 emails from the pit bull lobby waiting your review.
Wow.
I have a couple things. So my next thing is
The arms of an angel is going to be your new ringtone by the end of the night.
I think you should
Sarah
save all the
McLachlan.
animals except for the pit bulls. They can just all burn.
Wow.
So, anyways,
My dad says pit bulls kill more than e-cigs, so we got to ban them.
that's true.
That's true.
All I'm saying,
Flavored pit bulls, however, kill twice as many.
Yeah, those berry flavored pit bulls are the worst. The kids love them, and then they turn.
They turn on them.
people want to ban guns, but it takes a person to operate those. Pit bulls kill on their own.
Are you done costing us subscribers?
No, hold on. So you know I hate farmers. I have one other thing I hate more.
Last year you were all about supporting the farmers with the windmills. What changed?
Listen, I always support the windmills.
I
don't support the tractors. I think they should replace their tractors with the windmills.
With ox?
With the windmills.
I hate school buses more. Because if I'm going down the road,
Because of your private school background, you didn't have to take a bus?
I know we had buses, but they're for our field trips. So I hate buses so much because if they're going the opposite way of you and they stop, you also have to stop. If you're raising a kid that's too dumb to look both ways, he probably shouldn't be. He should be on the short bus. Just saying.
He'd still have to get on a bus though.
It should, yeah, but
So what if they hire pit
Saying.
bulls to watch?
And your girlfriend
Outlaw.
Katie still associates
I
with
like
you at
that,
this
Brad.
point.
You're a
yes,
thinker. Here's my
I hate school buses.
I have some thoughts on school buses too. I think that we have invested enough as a community to create bus stops that have signs and everyone knows that is a bus stop
Yes.
for public transportation no matter what time of the day it is. We ought to be doing that for school buses as well, just so that even before you get to that location, you know to be watching out for school buses. We do it in some areas, but it needs to be everywhere.
And I hate how they'll stop at one house and then they'll go 20 feet and stop at another house. Why don't you make a general location where all these kids get together? There's no reason.
Then they got to cross the road, and
Not
that's
if
what
they're
you're
all on the
complaining
same
about.
side.
Do they have sidewalks? No.
Wow.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, it's a little
There are
ridiculous.
holes in your plan chase.
Back in my day, we would have walked barefoot 3 miles
your
to
day,
school.
you lived
we
next-
didn't need sidewalks.
You lived next door to your
Chase.
school, and your grandpa was the teacher.
Chase, what year were you?
He wasn't the teacher. He was the principal.
What year were you born?
95.
Classic.
1995. Brad, do you want to follow that, or do you want? Do you want a little bit of a buffer?
I will follow that actually. First off, it sounds like Dakota is wanting the red line for Newcastle. That's what I heard.
Dakota causes accidents.
I don't know if that's what we're doing, but that's what I heard. So we can talk to him in Indy. I think that's working out pretty well for him over there. But
That's what I heard.
one thing I do want to mention just locally and one last shameless prop for the credit union. At Perfect Circle Credit Union, one thing we like to do is we cut down our marketing budget from as far as bunch of different, sponsoring teams and sponsoring T-shirts, putting banners up places. That
Need to
kind
get
of stuff.
back on those Indy cars, man. Those Perfect Circle.
That would be sweet. And you brought up a very interesting thing to me.
You guys need to have the merch, some old pictures and stuff in the lobby.
Why don't
you got
we do
a
that?
rich history.
I know.
I swear to God, every old race car you look at from the 30s,
Circle.
40s, 50s, 60s, Perfect Circle is on the side of
It has been
every
eating
one of
at
those
me
cars.
since we had that conversation in my office.
Every one of
a
those cars.
year ago.
Yeah.
But so we do a thing where we decided instead of doing a bunch of sponsorships of different smaller things, we felt like it was kind of diluting the effect over the community. So what we've done is we've actually started a program where, and we did. I don't know if you saw in the community, we were selling school buses to put up during August. We're not going to doing that anymore, but we are still donating money. We're taking all of our money we get donated into the boxes we have in our lobbies, and all of our budget towards what we were using for sponsoring people and whatnot. We're using that as we have the opportunity to send all fourth graders in Wayne and Henry County. We subsidize field trips because it's a need. We know that teachers aren't getting to go as many field trips anymore, but we don't we want to make it so it's accessible. There's nothing that no hoops they have to jump through. They just have to go to our website and they can actually.
They just say yes.
They basically say, yeah, we here's what we want to do, and then we approve that and then get the money in their hands. There've been a lot of teachers in the area that have done that, but we know that there's a lot more that don't even know that it happens. So that's one thing we're trying to get out in the community, is just because it's literally a free service. We just want to give the opportunity for all Wayne and Henry County fourth graders to get to go on field trips, and that's what we use all our money towards now.
We're talking like Hawaii,
yes,
Bora,
correct,
yeah, Cozumel,
Wilbur
wherever.
I self-identify as a fourth grader.
Wilbur Wright just got back from Yellowstone. That was great. No, but we are doing that. I think it's been really well received by the teachers that have done it. But it's funny is that a lot of teachers just still don't realize that it's happening. So we try to make that in the community well known that, hey, if you're a teacher in Wayne or Henry County, go to our website. You can apply to get those funds, and it's a great resource there for teachers. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Hey guys, what's up with that fountain they're building on Broad?
That's part of 1400.
You
Plaza.
throw your coins in there, and then it goes
It's
towards the
on
next
Broad.
project.
Did you realize your final thoughts were finished?
I know, but I had a general question about
I've heard that
Local
that quarter,
issues.
That quarter raise in taxes, you can either send it or you can put it in the fountain.
It's just your quarters, Brad. Why are you so worried about it?
wait, we're being taxed for that?
Which, on to my final thoughts, shout out to Councilman Gray for talking down to the people who are concerned about where their money goes in the county and pretending like $10 just isn't a big deal for everyone else except for him.
What are you talking about?
Because he put up a poll on his Facebook page, and you know what? I'll read it verbatim just so that I'm not lying. But I did talk to a couple, as I'm pulling this up, I did talk to a couple of other county council members just this afternoon, and they said that they're not even sure why he put the poll up there, because it's definitely going to happen, and we definitely need the money, and they don't foresee us not getting the 0.2% jail tax increase. But Kennan put on his Facebook page, Henry County Jail is overcrowded. Officials appear before federal magistrate in November to explain what actions we're taking to remedy the situation. We're weighing a 0.2% jail tax to begin viable solution. The average impact on median income household in county is less than quarter per day. And the two options are do what must be done and don't take my quarters. It's
I pretty much remember making that the central issue of the campaign, saying that you elect these people and they will vote to raise your taxes.
Yep.
And they said, "Oh, last resort." And here we are,
the prophet
12 months later, and damn it, your taxes are going up, everybody.
Well,
Man.
in Kennan's defense, though, he did say the first time he came on our show that he was already thinking that, right? So it's not like you're surprised, right?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Hey, small government Republicans, what are you going to do?
So I say we sell the castle and we get the drive-in back.
That's a private business now, man. That's Myers Excavating.
Hey, it's all about the money, baby.
Well, I mean, if you can work out a deal with Perfect Circle to get your stuff financed.
Excavating by day, movies by night.
That's right.
Ooh,
It's a very American screen now.
it is. I like it.
It's a very American screen.
So every movie you watch is in the lens of America.
In the Arms of an Angel.
In the arms of...
And
And
it's
then,
it's like Independence Day every day on there.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
But that was my final thoughts. I thought that Kennan's poll was insulting to everyone who needs to budget their money wisely and actually needs to keep an eye on $10 a month whenever wherever it goes. It's not just a little thing for everybody in the county. And then also to inform everyone that it looks like our county council has given up on trying to find other solutions for the Henry County Jail. And that's just where it is.
Yeah, I hope that
I
hope that every one of them go down to the state legislature and explain to them the problems that the state has caused them.
Right. And
first of January, because that's where the finger needs to be pointed.
And then, never mind.
All right, two things from me real quick. Cade, our boy Cade, shared a video from Tulsi Gabbard, 2 minutes long. She's the congresswoman from Hawaii, soldier herself, running for president, and following the recent missile strikes in the Middle East, our president offered troops up to support another nation that we're in treaties with, and said, just let us know what you need and where you need them, and we're there. That was a Twitter. It was a Twitter thing. It wasn't an official declaration, but it's presidenting by tweet. She took exception to it, about 2 minutes long, and I thought it was spot on. I think she's great for the national conversation, and she's talking about issues that very, very few people at that level are actually talking about. I caught a lot of heat for sharing it and saying this is not a political issue. It's, hey, listen to this because it actually matters. And some folks that are very much have their Trump-colored glasses on attacked me and said, "You're crazy, Jeremiah. You're wrong, and you're completely wrong." And I just want to challenge those folks to go back and remember when Bill Clinton was president. And there was bombing going on in the Balkans. And when you guys were on the exact opposite side, talking about how the United States shouldn't be the world's policeman anymore. And it's the same argument. You've changed sides. Your guy's not in charge anymore, but you've changed sides. And Tulsi Gabbard is actually talking like George W. Bush was in 2000 when he was standing on the debate stage with Al Gore talking about a humble foreign policy. And that's what he wanted for the country. So the Republicans in 2000, 19 years ago, were doing the same thing. And now you've got a Democrat who's doing it, who's the anti-war or the humble foreign policy candidate.
Wait, you're telling me women can run for president now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty good at it.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I just want to say, Jeremiah, you know better than this. This is a twisted political statement, and our president had to spell it out for some people that just don't understand. We will not act until we have more facts, and then he will make a decision. And you know that decision will be made by him alone. Again, this is nothing more than a political statement, and you know it.
So once again, these are all my friends. Political disagreements. The person that made that post is a very good friend of mine. But just take off your Trump-colored glasses.
You didn't
for 5
reply to the
minutes.
comment, so I want you to reply.
Are they
That
orange?
was the show. That was
Okay.
it. This
All right.
this is why we're having this
That was your
conversation
reply.
here.
I was trying to put you on the spot.
No, this is it. Just go back and remember what you thought 20 years ago when Bill Clinton was president, and they kept bombing over there. It's the same thing. Yeah. You know, the United States military exists for the United States defense. You shouldn't have UN peacekeeping troops that are getting put in harm's way.
It is
That's
weird.
not the point. That's not why they sign up.
Trump's whole wording in that tweet was so weird that we would send our troops to them if they need them. Like,
it's tribalism.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking
it's an
at it
eerie
and
thing
it's,
to say.
it's ride or died with your bros is the way that it sounds. It doesn't sound like the way you ought to be operating a country.
The verbiage wasn't great. As
Yeah,
a Trump,
it was just a weird-
Trump supporter myself, the verbiage wasn't great. Now, as always, we know with Trump, there's what he says and there's what he does.
Yeah, and, then
And I don't mean
something else
that
happens.
that he's lying, but that he frames arguments and then he reworks those arguments based on certain things. So I get it. I don't love the way that was said either. It did had the connotation of, we're going to be doing the bidding of the Saudis, which makes me sick to my stomach a little bit. But I can't believe that's what his mindset was when he was saying it. But it is the way it sounds for sure.
We hope not, but
You would
we'll
hope
just
not.
have to wait and see. It's
Yeah.
one of those things.
Other final thought real quick. This is really for Chase because he's here. NFL quarterbacks, we've had like 8 of them get broken already.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before.
Colin Kaepernick, baby. He's coming.
Breeze.
The NFL
Roethlisberger. Size
has
more.
to change their rosters, Chase. You need to allow 2 uncounted players on the active roster. Back in the day, there used to be a position in the 90s when I was growing up with football.
Called the fullback?
The emergency backup quarterback. He only could come in if the other 2 guys were out for the rest of the game.
I think.
And he played and he was on the roster. He could bring him in the fourth quarter if he wanted to, but if your emergency third quarterback who dressed came in, he would come off the bench.
Well, there's
and then
actually-
he was in for the rest of the game. That was it.
Guffey, you might know this. There was a story I read last year about in hockey where there's an emergency, goalie?
Yeah. He came in for Chicago.
He was like an announcer or something, right?
No. He was just a regular Joe.
Or a guy in the stands.
No, I think he was like an announcer or something.
No. He's a regular guy. I know the story, exact story you're talking about.
It was a
like
good
the-
story.
It was like the last period maybe. He came in. Both of the goalies had gone down, and so actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's always an emergency goalie for both teams in the stadium, And if one goes down,
they share them. It's like the home team provides it, right?
Yeah. You'll go fetch. Like you'll call this guy up and he'll be at whatever the league.
Didn't realize
It's probably like 4 hot dogs in.
Was this in Washington that's happened? Was
No,
this a Caps guy?
No, I'm pretty sure it was a Chicago Blackhawks guy.
I'm going to say it was Caps Blackhawks, but I could be
anyways,
pulling that on my butt.
So they're provided a backup goalie, and if the two go down, he'll come in. So he's a regular guy like you and me. He plays hockey on the weekends.
And he got to suit up in
he got to come in,
NHL game.
and I think he made like 13, 14 saves, something like that.
He's kind of like a provisional guy.
Didn't let him score at all.
He's kind of like a provisional guy at the Masters. They bring in to run if there's an odd number on a pairing out day. They'll send him in. He's just a local guy that lives there in Augusta that plays. It usually beats the guy he's playing with.
Yeah, it's his home course.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing: is the product is so important in the NFL, and the league
Scott
is so
Foster.
complicated
I have a solution.
that you need to have 4. You need to dress
No.
4 quarterbacks, and they need to be a part of your
You
team.
need an emergency guy like Guffey was saying. And that guy did. He had an incredible game. He
he
didn't
did.
give up a goal. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
But you need a guy like him, and then I think the solution we need to go with is, because all the quarterbacks are pansies now, throw flags on them. You can only pull the flag. There are a couple roughing the passer calls in that Bears Denver game that were ridiculous. 2 against the Bears, 1 against Denver. It was a little ridiculous.
The first year Andrew Luck was hurt, I think he was out, and we had to go to like Josh Johnson or somebody, and he came in like on the Monday of that week and had to start for the Colts because we were decimated by injury. The Jets are going to go through the same thing. I think in the NFL we need 4 per, and then they stay with the team.
If quarterbacks,
and you actually get to develop somebody.
Quarterbacks had to wear flags, Andrew Luck would still be playing.
Well, you look in baseball. I mean, you eventually get to they have several, and they still get to position players every once in a while. They have to pitch in a random like 15th inning or whatever. So, yeah, I think that's probably wise to have more than 2.
Well, I mean,
and what the NFL did is they actually they used to protect the teams from themselves, where there was a 53-man roster, but one of them had to be that backup quarterback. And now they removed that. And now you just, it's a roster spot. You do what you want with it.
I'm pretty sure you can have as many quarterbacks as you want.
Yeah, they need to handcuff the teams and say you are going to pay 4 quarterbacks. Period.
To keep quality.
Period.
To keep
I don't
quality.
know.
To keep the quality of the league up, because you'll get to a guy that's coming in off the street and he doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
And it's a multi-billion-dollar league.
You mean
and
Kurt Warner when he used to bag groceries?
But
Kurt was at least the backup.
there's not 4
He
quality.
had been with the Rams that year when Trent Green got hurt.
There's not 4 quality quarterbacks that you're just gonna
There
have
will
on every
be.
team. No,
There will be, but you don't develop them.
yeah, I would
You
agree
have
with that.
4 guys in camp. You have 4 or 5 guys that go through your training camp. Keep them on the roster for the year.
It doesn't matter. You look at those practice squad players. I mean, they're still getting reps, but they still suck.
We're not talking about
Tim
like
Tebow could be playing.
We're not talking
tomorrow.
about like Brett Favre coming off the bench. We're saying a serviceable.
I'm talking about
a good serviceable player.
No, that's
that's
what
in
I'm
your
saying.
system.
I mean, that's basically, even if you only have 2 quarterbacks, okay, both of them go down. You're picking someone up in the waiver wire. You're gonna have that same quarterback basically that would have been on your team if you had 4 spots.
All right, we're going to give Dakota the final word. How many quarterbacks does an NFL team need to have?
2.
Why? Wow. Show your work.
Wow.
Why do you hate Why do you hate Lord football?
At the end of the day, there's only a certain amount of practice reps to go around. You don't have enough for 4 quarterbacks.
I don't care. They can be in the quarterback room. They can know what the hell's
You know
going
how many
on.
body-
I want them. I don't care if they're practicing. I want them to know the plays, and know the scheme inside and out.
You can't tell me the NFL team can't find guys for him to do reps to.
Yeah.
Even outside of standard day to day.
Yeah,
Right, I'll say 3.
You have to have, with your 53-man roster, you don't have enough players.
So I
for all
want
the
a
practice reps.
55-man roster, and you decide what you're going to do with them. But you have to pay and keep 4 quarterbacks.
I don't think it'd change much at all. I mean,
And 2 of them are the emergency.
if you want to pay
Real quick,
2
though.
extra guys just to read your playbook, and then if you do need them down the road, I'm fine with that. But
You
don't have enough room for them to practice.
How sweet would it be to be that 4th quarterback?
Man, that is the prime gig right there.
It's
All
like
you do
it's
is
like
just practice
becoming.
and make millions.
Talking about practice.
It's like becoming.
You ain't talking about the game I love. You're just talking about practice.
It's like you're a coach early.
It's awesome.
Dakota.
Yeah. It's-
Who said that?
I have no idea.
You don't know the practice speech?
No.
Can you? Do you have audio available right now?
Yeah.
Can you pull this up for me on the way out? find Kyle Busch, Marshawn Lynch, and see if there's a little audio clip. Clicking away. After Las Vegas, he was so pissed off after the playoffs. Marshawn drove the pace car for the NASCAR race this weekend. The Raiders sent him to Las Vegas. Yeah.
Is he still around? Did he retire?
No, he's retired, but he's still associated with
I knew
the
he
team.
came back last year. I think.
Yeah.
He's like another. He just hangs around and
He's
does
like the mascot.
Yeah.
He's like their, we have
seen anything.
Robert Mathis. Really? Kyle Busch, post race. It's probably that second one you got right there. What's it say?
Ron Frutal interviews an unhappy Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
I mean, most
Push
teams.
play on that.
Okay.
September 29th.
Hold on. Go ahead. What
You got some the sound for me? Give me the sound bite, buddy.
I gotta open the sound because I like to keep.
He's clicking and twisting. I love having producer Chris. He's always on the game and he's ready to go.
I'm not on the game because I wasn't prepared.
Have we been recording the whole show tonight? Is it?
Absolutely not.
No one saw this today.
Yeah, this was all just a big.
Most
secret.
teams have your quarterback,
There you
your
go.
backup,
Yeah, I don't know.
and they have a guy on the practice squad who's still in the quarterback room. So you have 3 quarterbacks
You
already.
got 3. I want.
But there's only
4.
2 dress, but the third one in
I
dressing.
want all of them dressing.
Well, no,
and
but
I want them all. And I want them on. I want them there. I want
So would
4.
you at least allow the third one to be on the bench dressed?
well, they're probably allowed to be on the bench dressed if you
No, he's
need them
practice
to be.
squad.
No,
he's
he's
not
not.
game
He
day
can't be.
active.
He can't
You
be
can
game
only
day
dress
active.
like 46 guys.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that's
but
what I'm saying. There's no reason that third quarterback couldn't be dressed. You just have to drop a different guy.
The third quarterback is a practice squad.
So
Well,
you still
typically.
have that option today. You just don't
That's what I
see it
said.
used because
You
you
need
don't
to
need more than
force-
2 quarterbacks.
You need to force the league to develop and invest in itself. You churn out so many Division I quarterbacks into the NFL.
There's
that
no
could be in the NFL,
there's
but
no
they don't
reason you
stick.
need more than 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
We
Now to
need
make an
4.
argument as well that there's actual quarterbacks that would make it in the NFL that never get developed
never get
because
the time.
they're not quite there when they get there.
Right.
It's probably true.
If they're around, you're going to get them.
Yep.
But I think they shoot themselves in the foot.
It's not going
repeatedly.
to change at all.
That third or fourth round guy could be a starter in the league if he had a chance to be a journeyman for 2 years,
Don't
3
think
years.
so.
You got anything?
No, I can't get it.
We're giving
back
up.
into the sound.
Go look it up. It's hilarious. That's the end of this. We will see you on Thursday next week.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at WeAreLibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to WeAreLibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at WeAreLibertarians.com.